Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new, thank you very much for joining the family, and if you are old subscriber, thank you very much for rejoining. I am Happiness Ingo and I'm currently based in Australia. I've been here for the past 9 months. I'm currently based in South Australia, which is Adelaide. And yeah, I decided to just cover the cost of living in Australia, trying to cater for someone that is willing or probably planning on relocating to Australia, or maybe it's just you are also just thinking of coming to work here or whatever you are trying to do to, but this is mainly just to cater for somebody that is coming to live in Australia. And I realized a lot of people, also the other thing is a lot of people really have been asking me about the cost of living in Australia, and I decided to just cover this topic. Anyways, before we start, can you just hit that subscribe button with the notification bell right next to it? And also don't forget to just share and then comment in the comment box, and I'll gladly respond to whatever you need. If you have a question, I'll gladly respond to you in the comment box. So yeah, sorry if I'll be looking down. I actually just have made a list of the things that I feel they are quite important, or I feel it will benefit somebody that is currently or actually want to relocate to Australia, or actually living in Australia and they're kind of finding it hard to navigate through the Australian system. So the first one we have is groceries. Now with groceries, we work on a budget of 1,000, yeah, plus minus 1,000 per month. But I've realized that it's actually cheaper to shop from Aldi than Coles and the Woolworths and all that. And our fruit and veg, we usually don't buy from the stores or the grocery stores. We usually go buy it from the open market. Check out the open markets. They actually have really fresh fruit and veggies, and that's where we mainly buy our fruit and veg. So what we do is that every Sunday we then go to the open markets and we just buy our veggies there. We just stock up for the week. We just buy our fruit and veg for the week, and then during the whole week we are then sorted. Then we only buy every Sunday because they only operate every Sunday. Now the market is about, I think it's just farmers that come and sell their veggies and fruits there, and it's really affordable. It's really, you score a lot because they are quite, it's cheap there than having to buy from the shops itself. Accommodation with in Australia, rent is paid per week. That's one thing we need to know. Rent is paid per week, but I think also it differs from landlords to landlords. Some landlords can agree that you pay per month, which they are fine with it, obviously, and other landlords might not want that and just want their installment per week, because maybe they have commitments and they just want their rent per week. But in Australia, rent is paid per week. And one thing I've realized, maybe a lot of people actually don't cover this, is that in Australia, when you're looking for rent, they require so much documentation. So it's a bit difficult to find rent in Australia because they actually want you to have a steady income, as in you must have a consistent income. Even if you have, let's say you have a large saving in your account, they'll probably ask, yes, the money is there, but they want to make sure that you have a flow of income for them to give you rent, as in you are able to pay rent per month. Because with your saving, what now? Are you able to pay rent per month? You can use up your money. It's a bit difficult to find accommodation in Australia. And then the other thing is, the closer you are to CBD, the more you pay. The further you are from CBD, the lesser you pay. I'm not so sure about countryside now, but I'm talking about just within the town itself. The countryside, I don't know how it works, but I think it's similar to most countries, where obviously if you are renting in town, you are likely to pay more than somebody who is a bit further from town, if that makes sense. But yeah, in the suburb where we stay, we are not really close to CBD, and rent here ranges from 450 to 800 plus minus per week. So that's a range you are looking at in the suburb where we stay. But like I said, the further you are from CBD, the more you are likely to pay. The closer you are to CBD, the further you are from CBD, the lesser you're likely to pay. The closer you are to CBD, the more you pay. So we are not really far from the CBD and neither too close to CBD. We are just in the middle. So yeah, that's accommodation. The other thing is electricity, gas, and water bill. Now, a lot of houses in Australia, they actually have gas stoves and electricity, obviously, now to supply the whole house, and the water bills, and all those three are paid differently. They are paid separately because you have different types of electricity suppliers. So the other thing is, I would also recommend that you go shop for a cheaper electricity supplier for you to score. Obviously, then you pay less. So it's the same with gas. They also have a lot of different types of gas suppliers, and it's obviously, I would recommend that you also go shop for a cheaper gas supplier for you to come out cheaper. And then with the water bills, I think there's only one supplier, if I'm not mistaken. It should be like that, obviously. So with our electricity, we paid quarterly after 3 months. So we spend about 500 to 600 Australian dollars plus minus. And then with the gas is not really so expensive. We also paid quarterly, which is after 3 months. We pay about, I would say, yeah, with gas we usually pay around 200 to 300 quarterly, which is now in 3 months. And then with water bill, it also just run around 400 to 500. So that's in 3 months as well. So remember, that's the bill for a family of 4. So obviously, if you are living alone or you are just less than 4, you are obviously likely to come out cheaper. The next one is fuel. With fuel, we spend about $30 per week. So per month we probably work on a budget of 100 to 120. Now I work from home. That's where I score also, and my husband uses public transport to go to work. So we only use the car mainly to drop off and to pick up the kids from school. And also weekends, that's the time we really drive around, because maybe we want to just drive around, explore, because we are still kind of new. It's only our 9 month here. The time we really drive around, which is over the weekend. But during the week we barely drive. And the good part about Australian schools, I don't know about high schools, I'm only talking about primary schools, because my kids are still young. The older one is only in year 2 and the younger one is still a baby. So with primary schools, it's built in a way that it kind of caters the same distance for everybody, to say it's actually centralized. So we don't really drive far. It probably takes me about maybe 10 minutes to drop off all the kids, but I think 10 minutes is probably even more, maybe 8 minutes to drop the kids off and back home. With fuel, that's how much we spend, plus minus 100 to 120. That's how much we spend on fuel. Next one is public transport. Now with public transport is so convenient. Trams and buses. So with trams, you have a metro, they call it a metro card. I don't know about other states, because I'm based in South Australia, and here we use a metro card, where you just kind of you buy the metro card and you just recharge it. And public transport is quite cheap, because my husband uses public transport to work, and probably the maximum he would spend per week is about $20. So it's way cheaper to use a public transport than to have your own car. But at the end of the day, still, it also depends on how you are using your car, if you are driving up and down. But public transport is very convenient, especially for if you are a student and you are maybe you don't need a car, so you just using public transport. They are very convenient. In fact, sometimes also us, when you want maybe to go to CBD or somewhere, or per se, let's say if you want to go to a specific place, we are just going to the mall and back home, we also use public transport, even if we are with the kids, because it's so convenient. Actually, to have a car here, it's a bit of inconvenience, especially when it comes to parking. Parking is a problem. You either struggle with parking, or it's so expensive. Parking is very expensive here. So public transport, plus minus $20 per week. That should be sufficient. That's if you even use it every day, but if you don't use it every day, probably you spend less than that. The next one is kids school. Now when I talk of kids school, is like I said, my kids are only in primary school and daycare, so I don't know about high school. Maybe one day when I stay longer and I would know about high school, maybe I'll cover about high school, but at the moment it's only lower grades, which is primary school, which is that's where my kids are currently are. So with primary school here, school is actually free. Okay, yeah, it's free. The only amount we pay about 300 per year. So, and that is reception to year 7. That's primary school. Primary school is free. A baby. Having a baby in Australia, to be honest, it's pricey. It's very expensive to have a baby in Australia. Now, with my child's daycare, the rate is 200. I think it's about 250 per day. That's the rate. But the good part about daycare, the government subsidize you depending on your tax bracket. So obviously we don't pay 250, we pay way lesser than that because we are subsidized, because that's not if you are a permanent resident. So I'm not so sure what happens if you are not a permanent resident, which I assume obviously you are not, the government cannot subsidize you. You probably have to pay the full amount. So that's how much you pay for, plus minus you have to work on a 250. That's how much you pay for kids school. And then the other thing is you cannot afford a nanny in Australia, or if you can afford, you are literally sharing your salary with the nanny, to be honest. Because I remember when before I was unemployed, when I was job hunting, I'll have to attend interviews, right? So I will then call in a nanny on days where I have to attend interviews, and I was looking at the range of $30 to $40. Yeah, 30 to some, they can go as far as 65. So I was in the range. Actually, I negotiated to go to 30. So I spent $30 per hour. But I think their charging rate was about from 40. I think it was from 40 to 65. That's how much you are paying for a nanny, and we are speaking of per hour. That's what I'm saying. Nannies are a bit pricey in Australia. I remember if I have to go for like 3 hours, probably I'll need 3 hours or 4 hours. I'll pay around 120 going up, for just those hours that the nanny stays with the kids. And you pay here, you don't talk about month end and whatever, you pay here. So I think having a baby here, it's a bit it's a bit costly. So yeah. The next item we have here, it's medical aid. So with medical aid, Australia has Medicare, which is medical aid for all the citizens, and also if you are a permanent resident. The good part about their Medicare is that you choose, you go to any other doctor. There's no to say there's a private doctor, there's a government no, you go to just, you choose. In fact, you go hunt for your own doctor and the government pays for you. So Medicare is really a good, that's really one thing I would say, that it's a great benefit that the Australian government really caters for their citizens. But also you need a private medical aid. We are currently with Bupa, and with Bupa we are paying $250 for a family of 4. So I would recommend that you get a private medical aid, because it really becomes handy, especially in case of emergency. For example, maybe where you urgently need an ambulance. Unfortunately, the ambulance will not bill the government, it will bill you as an individual, and you'll be responsible for that. You will be responsible for that invoice. So that's really when the private medical aid comes in handy. And also like maybe you urgently need a doctor, like for instance when you really urgently need a doctor, like for instance our son, he has severe tonsils, so our doctor recommend that we get the tonsils removed. So we went then hunting for a specialist and all that, and the only doctor we could find that could give us a closer date was about, I think, 7 months apart, And that's when we tried to go through our medical aid, and we managed to get a doctor that could schedule for us an appointment within 3 months. So that's the only time you really need private medical insurance. So I would definitely recommend a private health or private insurance if you can afford it. You must get one for yourself. So the next one, we have insurance and car insurance. Okay, sorry, that's just one thing. I think what I mean insurance and car insurance is that with insurance I meant like life covers. So life covers, it's I think life covers is quite important, especially for somebody that is migrating to Australia. Remember, you are away or miles away from home, and anything can happen while you are here. I just feel life cover is important, but again, it's a personal choice. If you feel you don't need the life cover, or it's against, not everybody is for the life covers, so it's a personal choice. But yeah, life covers, you can find life covers, or a lot of companies that actually cater life covers, and you can get as cheap as $45 per month. So that life covers are a bit also affordable. And then car insurance. With car insurance, unfortunately, with in Australia, car insurance is a must. Whether you own a luxurious car or not, it's a must that you have car insurance for your car. And we pay about I think $90 for our insurance for our car. So at the end of the day, also it depends really on what type of car you have. Obviously, the luxurious car you have, the more you pay. The cheaper car you have, the lesser you pay. So it just depends on what type of car you are driving. And also, again, there are a lot of variety of car insurance. Shop around and see where you can find a cheaper quote or cheaper service, and you go with them. And then we have phones. Now with phones, what I spend per month, I would probably spend about $45. You can call unlimited. You have unlimited calls, and then you have, I don't know how much bundles I have, but I know they are sufficient. They last me. I don't even finish them. They really last me. And I also just didn't check well. When I buy my airtime, there's always something about roaming. I think you can buy international data somewhere there. I'm just not sure, but there's something in that line. So yeah, that's how much I spend for my phone. I spend about $45 per month. And then yeah, because $45 lasts you for 30 days or 31 days, so it's actually $45 per month. And then we have internet. Now with the internet, they really also have a lot of companies that provides internet, but we are currently paying $90 per month for the internet, and it's unlimited, very good, fast, and so good. So with internet, you should also hunt around, search around, and find an affordable internet that suits you as an individual. So yeah, we are paying about $90 per month for internet. And then I have salons and barbers. Now with salons and barbers, for us with African hair, it's a bit difficult to find a hairdresser. I don't know about other states, but in Australia, it's really, really difficult to find a hairdresser. I managed to find one. I budget about 100 to 120 for just normal cornrows. I think the last time I was there, I did cornrows, and there was a time where I paid about 150 where I did a wash and blow. That's how much I paid for wash and blow. And then the other day I asked her for her rastas, and she said she pays about 200. She charges about 250 for rastas, if I'm not mistaken. Was it 200, 250 in that range? So, but for my personal budget, I usually just budget about 100 to 120 for my hair salon per month. So I only go once per month to the salon. So yeah, that's with the hair. And then the barber, my husband and my son, usually they would spend about, they usually pay about $30 for a haircut, which I think it's really, really cheap. People are paying as far as $90 or $100 for a haircut, especially if you are doing it like in CBD. Obviously, you are paying more. And then we have entertainment. Now, with entertainment, the good part about Australia is that it really caters for kids. For kids, there's so many playgrounds. There's so many parks for the kids, and the library is open any other time. So kids really have so many things to keep them busy. So we barely spend on kids. Otherwise, maybe we only spend when, let's say for instance, if we take them out maybe to an indoor playground, but it's not even that expensive. We pay about $6. If it's a lot, maybe $15. That's how much we pay for the kids to go out. And then for us as a couple, we would budget, we do usually work on a budget of maybe 300. We go out like once, twice a month. And obviously, it depends on your finances, it depends on your pockets. Entertainment, I feel it's a personal thing, and it's all about where you stand and what your finances can actually, or what your finances are allowing you to do, and what type of entertainment you actually do. What do you do? Some people probably go to luxurious places, or some people just stay home, have a dinner, and so I think entertainment is personal, but we just work on a budget of about 300. That's how much we actually spend. But yeah, otherwise, that's all I had for my list. And I see most people are asking, as in, how is it to live in Australia? I seriously feel this is something that no one will tell you, but Australia is one of the most expensive countries to live in. I really think so. It's really part of the top countries or expensive countries to live in. I've traveled to several countries, and just comparing the prices, I think Australia is a bit expensive, guys, to be honest. It's really expensive to live in Australia. Otherwise, that's all I had to say. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And if you have any question, just drop it in the comment box, and I'll definitely respond to everybody that has a question. And yeah, that's it. Until next time. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.